I recently helped Backyard by Foley's down in Dennisport, Cape Cod fund $2 million to get their second location open. The Foley families have been in business for over 100 years in Boston, and I'm really excited to share their story. In this video, I interviewed Mike, one of the youngest members of the family, on how they got started, what their game plan is, and he talked about the amazing work they're doing in Dennisport, Cape Cod. Now let's get into it. So I'm here today with Mike Foley. What's going on, Mike?
What's up, Rob? How are you?
I'm doing great, man. We're at Backyards down in Dennisport, Cape Cod. This is an amazing facility. Mike, tell us a little bit about Backyard and what you guys did here, and how folks can find this location and enjoy all the stuff you guys created.
Absolutely. So Backyard by Foley is the Cape Cod's newest and biggest outdoor family-friendly venue. So we have a mix of, rotating food trucks over here. We have more coming in on a, rotating basis. We have a little ice cream shop over there. We got a mix of everything. We got a game area, a stage area, lounge-style seating. We have, high tops, our main bar. We kind of have something for everyone. This is something built for families and built for all ages. We're a huge family that's been coming down to Dennis, our entire lives, and we know the challenges that, large families and large groups face, on Cape Cod. You can't walk in as a group of 20 to a restaurant in July. So This is something that we built knowing the problems that exist for families, and this is our solution. And, I think that this is going to be, an excellent addition to Dennis and the Cape in general.
I love it, man. I got a family of 6, and we're here today, man, enjoying it, man.
Appreciate
this is awesome.
That.
Absolutely, man. So what was the key, Mike, for you first and foremost identifying this site for this business?
Well, one of the things that we wanted to incorporate is so many different zones to make this as family friendly as possible. So that, eliminated sites that had small square footage. If you look around over here, you have a whole game area all the way back there where you have every type of game. You have, mini golf, can jam, spike ball, cornhole, everything. We got an area over here for stage, beautiful areas over here, because one of the things that we think is, something key on Cape Cod is everyone's going out in these larger groups, birthday parties, family. It's all family friendly. That's the goal here. So we were looking for a site that, was in a main area. So right here, we're in Dennisport Village. That's a commercial zoned area, Main Street. Got a bunch of local restaurants, retail shops. And this is the biggest piece of property that we can have that also has parking, because parking is a huge problem.
Major, man. That's great. Appreciate you sharing that, man. It sounds like you guys thought of every aspect of this project, this site, in order to make sure you could attract folks can park, they can get in, they can get out, and again, family friendly is key on the Cape Cod. How did you guys deal with getting the approvals, the entitlement, the licensing, all of that? Like, what was that process like?
So I think one of the biggest keys to being successful in the licensing and permitting project was our outreach. We reached out to, one of the biggest groups that was key to us getting approved, because this is such an unconventional area. It's not typical, it's not an enclosed restaurant like a bar that, it's already licensed, it's already zoned, you're allowed. We had to get a special permit. So we reached out to the Dennisport Advancement Committee, who is based in this area, who wants to see revitalization in this part of Main Street, to help, bolster the economy and economic development of this area. So they were a huge group that, helped us get approved. We reached out to all the select board members, planning board members, key figures in the neighborhood.
Yep.
You can't go into a project, especially when we're Boston-based business. We're not established here, so you have to make sure that you're doing your homework, you're reaching out to people and making inroads and showing off what we can bring to the city.
Awesome. What was the biggest challenge? Because you guys are in the hospitality business. This is location number 2, correct?
Correct.
JJ Foley's in Boston in the South End, legendary, almost 100 years in business.
Yes,
over
sir.
there.
117.
100 plus. There we go.
Yes.
And then this is location 2. What would you say was the biggest challenge to making the leap into the second location?
It's a good question. There's definitely multiple obstacles that we ran into. But I think, Dennis and the Cape in general being more of a seasonal business, I would say time is the biggest problem, because whether it's, the amount of time that has to happen before, between licensing hearings and planning board meetings, the time it takes to get an appraisal or the equipment needs to come in. You need things done fast, and you cannot just throw them, you can't, there's no throwing things together. You need to know exactly what dates you need to hit. And one of the things you have to do is, you have to get creative. We probably had, 30 or 40, hiccups that came up, and, you could either choose to, all right, wrap it up and say, all right, this isn't going to work out, or, you have to get creative.
Absolutely. As a young entrepreneur, how old are you, Mike?
I'm 23.
23 years old, guys. Mike is the mastermind behind this. It's him and his family that jumped into this, but Pat gives you a lot of credit, and I really respect that, man. What advice would you give to other 23-year-olds, aspiring entrepreneurs who want to jump into a venture like this and create something that has such an amazing impact?
I think it'd be I would say don't be scared, because the numbers and, you know, the risk you're taking is definitely, you know, really, really scary to look at. But I'm one of those people that never really wanted to be stuck in an office 9 to 5. I've always been, you know, wanting to get involved with my family's business, whether it's, you know, in hospitality or real estate or both at the same time.
Yep.
But, you know, don't be scared. And even when there's, you know, hiccups that come up, you can choose to call it a day and back down and, you know, this one's not going to win. Or you can get creative and, you know, there's always a way to make things possible. It sounds cliche, but, you know, you have to get creative, and that's key.
Absolutely, man. So all in all, I know you worked with my team and I at Crowd Lending for the funding for this. It was about $2 million you guys had to kind of come up with, plus some cash.
Yes.
How was that experience working with us on the financing? And would you recommend folks reach out based on what you've experienced?
Yes, and that kind of connects to the biggest problem we had, and the biggest problem was time. So, you know, a traditional bank, and, you know, if we wanted to go the SBA route, you know, you're looking at, you know, 60-day close, which, as I said, in a seasonal town, we would never be open this summer. And if we got approved and got financed in September, we can't carry the note from September to, you know, the next May without, you know, some serious cash being involved. So Crowd was awesome to work with because it's fast, they're responsive, their whole team was awesome to work with. You know, they told us what we needed, they told us how to get it done, and, you know, you have to get creative, and Crowd allowed us to get creative and, you know, make this deal possible.
Absolutely, man. No, really excited to work with you guys on this. As far as the numbers go, Mike, how soon do you guys think you'll break even and make a profit? Because we have a lot of entrepreneurs who watch the content I put out. But what's you guys' projections on when you break even? Is it year 1, year 2? Just so folks understand the business model.
Absolutely.
A little bit.
That's a good question. So there's obviously, you know, around 30 or 35% that we put down into this deal, on top of, whether that was on top of the money we financed with Crowd Lending, whether it's, you know, additional equipment that we needed to purchase.
Right.
Or
it's a lot of out-of-pocket expenses.
Exactly, a lot of out-of-pocket expenses. So definitely hoping to get, you know, probably 70% of our out-of-pocket money back after this first season.
Year 1, yep.
Correct. But one thing we're capitalizing on right now is the amount of weddings, receptions that happen on Cape Cod into the fall.
Yep.
If we're able to, I mean, so far we have 5 wedding welcome parties booked
Nice.
in October. So if we're able to push this out into October and expand our event offerings, we can really come close to.
You might hit it in year 1, man.
Hopefully.
That's awesome. I'm glad you shared that, because folks think it's instant return on investment,
No.
but the reality is you make an investment, you got to be patient, you got to put in the work, and 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the line, that's when you really see the return. So
Absolutely.
yeah, man, really excited to see that, man. But thanks, Mike, for your time, man. Appreciate you taking the time to share your journey with us and share your story as you guys identified this site. I know you guys got a ton going on today, and I'm excited to see what you guys do in the future.
Awesome. Thank you, Robin. Thank
No
you to
problem.
Crowd.